put Fred on the spot, and because he's been mentioned a number of times tonight, and I just wondered whether he might like to come up and ad-lib for a moment and talk about what's happening in the northern basins. So I'll hand you over to Fred Hooper.
Thank you very much. I too would like to acknowledge the traditional owners and the First Nations people of this land that we stand on today. But moreover, I'd like to acknowledge all of the First Nations across the continent of Australia. I'd also like to acknowledge that we never ceded our sovereignty, dominion, or relating or title to these lands. And I would also like to pay my respects to the elders past and present, but also encourage the young elders that are coming through to lead with dignity, honour and respect for all. As Will explained, I'm the chair of the Northern Basin Aboriginal Nations. We work with New South Wales and Queensland in terms of, I suppose, advising them of how they engage with First Nations people in the north. Cultural flows research, I'll touch on that a little bit, and Currumbin Swamp. Currumbin Swamp is on a property called Warringah, which is on the Culgara River. It's downstream of St George. So, in the 1990s, there was a huge cotton farm built in southern Queensland. And what the developers did was that they diverted the river into their cotton farm. So there was two rivers that ran through this farm, and actually diverted it into these big tanks, and they hold as much water as Sydney Harbour. Prior to the development upstream, the site, Currumbin Swamp, was flooded every 3 years, on average once every 3 years. The current data that we're getting shows that it's been flooded once every 10 years. The red river gums that are within Currumbin Swamp. Can I go back to the slide? The one with this monkey. The red river gums in Currumbin Swamp. So yeah, that's it. So what you're seeing here, there's two special trees for the Murray people. One is the river red gum, and the other one is the balar tree. And this photo is at a camp on a place called Guerrera Springs, which is 85 kilometres west of the Culgara River. About 4 kilometres from this site, we have a waterhole which connects back to the Culgara River. Once every 12 months, the Culgara River would get what we call a banker, so that's water running down the river at the bank. It would then connect what we call Guerrera Springs to the Culgara River. So what the old people used to do is, when they were on the red country, I'll go back a bit. When somebody passes away in Murray country, their spirit goes to the stars, and they go to the sky camp in the stars. And what happens to the spirit? They stay in the sky camp until it's time to come back and return back to Earth. While the mother is having a baby, the baby inside the mother has no spirit. So while that spirit is in the sky, the old people are talking to the spirit in the sky. And then when that baby is ready to be born, the spirit rides a falling star back to Earth, and it hides behind a tree. And as soon as the baby is born, that spirit comes into the body of the baby and gives it its first spirit. So for us, while that spirit is in the sky camp, the old people would sit under the red river gums and under the balar tree. And when they'd sit there, they would talk to the elders, and they would talk back to them through the breezes. And on this particular day, you were there, eh? No, you were there? No, sorry. On this particular day, it was in the middle of summer, there was not a breeze. As soon as the bus pulled up, the breeze started. And we do a smoking ceremony before we take people into sacred places. And the breeze started up, and all these little kids would go and sit in there, and we went in there and sat. And then the old people start talking to us through the leaves and the sounds of the trees. So for us, those two particular trees have the highest spiritual value, the highest value in our culture. There's no other value that's higher than that. And Currumbin Swamp, the red river gum, I think has a lifespan of it needs to be watered at least once every 3 years, or no more than a 5 years span before the water runs through. And that's why I think that site was picked, because it's vastly different. And we can see on our country that the flood regimes were changing. And the last flood we had was 2010, so it's now been 6 years. And we haven't had a flow through that system in 6 years. Probably another 4 or 5 years before we get another flow through. So that's why it's important for us to look at different ways of showing the water planners, what country means to us, what these sites mean to us, and how important it is to us. Because if we don't do that, then they're just going to. I saw something on Facebook today that Barnaby Joyce, and in the Northern Basin, like Will was saying that they were doing sustainable diversion unit adjustments in the Southern Basin, but in the Northern Basin, the current Murray-Darling Basin plan allows for 390 gigalitres of water to be taken back and put into the environment. The Murray-Darling Basin Board has recommended that be reduced to 320 gigalitres. The most affected river system in the Northern Basin is going to be our river system. So, at that level, it's going to be 15 years before that site is watered again. So, the time span is getting greater. The trees are getting sicker. We can't go and talk to our people in the sky. And that's how it affects us. When you muck with country, you're mucking with our lives, and you're mucking with our spirit, and you're mucking with the way that we associate with Mother Earth. Because, and you're also mucking with our law. Because prior to 1770 or 1788, when Cook fired that first shot within 15 minutes of landing on this country, we had laws that governed the way that we looked after things. And one of the major laws that we had was that we looked after water. And there was a Nurringerry elder, I won't mention his name because he's passed, said that you have to let that water flow, because it's life. And I think, and he also said that you only take as much as you want, and take as much as you need, and let the rest of the water flow to the people down below. And that's our law. A part of our law was to take only what we needed and allow the water to flow down to the people or the nations that are below us. With development and with over-allocations of water in the Murray-Darling Basin, we're finding now that there is not much water flowing down the system. And we were lucky, and I don't want to close your ears there a little bit. We had a guy come and present at our gathering, because we had 3 gatherings a year, and he was Mr. Carp. They called him Mr. Carp. I think Matt. So he presented a program to maybe reducing the carp or eliminating the carp within the Murray-Darling Basin. And you know, it was the first time that our people walked away from that gathering with smiles on their face. Because when people come to us, they come to us with stories about regulation. They come to us stories about, oh, you can only, in New South Wales, you're only allowed 10 megalitres of water per person for cultural purposes. On the eastern side of the Great Dividing Range, Aboriginal people can take 500 megalitres for economic purposes. But on the western side of the Great Dividing Range, we can't take the 500 megalitres for economic purposes. So we're being discriminated against. And then other legislation in Queensland says that for cultural purposes, you can take as much water as you want out of the river before anybody else. So there's a disparity between states around water quality and I suppose water management and water sharing. So, you know, in the Northern Basin, as Alana said, the system is quite different. You know, you've got a lot of water in here because you get a lot of snow melt in the Murrumbidgee and the Murray River and that as well. But up home, you know, we don't get that much water because the very first meeting I went to with NBAN was in 2010, I think it was. We were sitting there, and this old bloke was sitting there, and all he talked about was trees. Anyway, you were there as well. Eh? All he talked about was trees. And we were thinking to ourselves, what the hell have trees got to do with the Murray-Darling Basin and the rivers? And it got the best of us, and one of these blokes said to me, he said, hey, look, you know, we're here about water, we're not here about trees. He said, well, let me tell you a story. And this guy was 85, he's nearly in his 90s now. He said, when I was young, he said, I'd see them clouds rolling over the Great Dividing Range from the east. And he lived at the very top of the Murray-Darling Basin. He lived at a place called Killarney, up near Warwick and Toowoomba. He said, I'd see those clouds rolling over the mountains. He said, it rained for days. He said, progressively as they cleared the trees, the rain receded back to the other side of the mountain. And I was sitting in a conference in Canberra about all this stuff, and there was all these scientists, and I walked up to the table and we sat there at lunch, and this scientist came up to me and I told that story at that particular gathering, and he said, Fred, you know that old man's right. He said, because now it's scientifically proven that trees bring rain. So I think there's a whole range of issues that we need to look at here in terms of how we deal with water, not only within the Murray-Darling Basin, but right across the whole of this country, because we're progressively clearing trees. We're progressively using water and diverting water away from a whole heap of, you know, culturally sacred sites and that as well. And I must apologise, I'm ringing you tonight, I suppose, because I've been down here for the last few days on a conference in terms of renewable energy. And one of the things we looked at was, you look at the north, so they're moving a lot of agricultural production up to the northern part of the country. So, you know, I reckon in 20, 30 years, they're going to have the same problems up there that we're having down here. And so, you know, it's not about, I suppose it's about sharing the resource. And like that old fellow said, only take as much as you need and let the rest run down the system. But, you know, some people don't do that. They want to take all that water, they want to grow all that cotton, they want to shove all them carps in the channels to clean them out, and then all of a sudden it's a pest throughout the whole of the Murray-Darling Basin. I don't know whether you've got them in the rivers up this way or not, but they're pests. So I'm not going to ramble on too much more. I think I've taken up enough time. So thank you again, and I'd just like to announce at the Renewable Energy Conference there in the last couple of days, we had First Nations people from around the country, and one of the major outcomes of that energy conference was that we've now developed the First Peoples Renewable Energy Alliance, and that's what this is about. This is about alliances that we can make with people that are working within the industry, working within the Murray-Darling, in particular for us, the Murray-Darling Basin, and changing the way people think and changing attitudes. Because if we can't change government and we can't change government workers, you know, we're still going to be in that cycle. And I think cultural flows is for us a tool to try and do that as well. The Aboriginal Waterways Assessment Program is also a way of, we plan on using it a little bit different in the north, because there's two things that we want to do is, where there's already been a water resource plan done, we're looking at post-planning, so during the implementation stage. So we're using the science here and the Aboriginal science here. We're trying to bring it together to assess now the rivers and how we can fix them, and then develop projects around those as well. So thank you very much, and I'll hand it back.